I don't want to say subservient, but used by consciousness. When we reach the tipping point where we know things have to be done, when we reach a level of awareness and consciousness, then all things are used to facilitate that. And I think a great example of that, as I've said before, is the very fast adoption of gay marriage in states throughout the country. An issue that had been so divisive, so tricky, that couldn't even be talked about in many circumstances. But we reached a tipping point. We reached an awareness where it's not a problem anymore. And that goes across the board on either side. I mean, there's still people who are against it, but their voices are not being heard as loudly as they were before. And there's almost a complete consensus, around allowing people, whoever they are, to express their love and their desire to share their lives together, whoever and whatever they are. But look how long it took to get to that. So in the transition era, we become aware that it's not one person, one party that's going to change anything. It's going to be us and our consciousness and how aware we are. And the actions that we take. And our technology is, as I've mentioned, is a big part of this transition era. And our technology allows us to find those issues that mean something to us and to interact with people who feel the same and want to do something about them and to take action in a way that, we couldn't before the rise of things like the internet. Or you could, but it would take so much time that it would be very difficult. But since we can take greater action faster and with less, legwork or energy, we can accomplish more. And as we begin to see that, people, particularly millennials, I think, start to understand how powerful they are politically. One of the things I think we will see, just in a concrete kind of way, and before I sign off here, one of the things I think we will see in this transition era, and I don't know, I'm hesitant to say a time frame, but I'm thinking maybe between the next 10 and 20 years, I think you're going to see a radical change in our election process. In other words, we still have a very cumbersome process here in the United States when we vote. It's called the Electoral College. And basically, what the Electoral College does is, each state has a certain number of members of the Electoral College, and then your vote gets translated, into a vote from the Electoral College or not, depending on how many votes in your state are for one or the other candidate. So if your state votes overwhelmingly, say, for Mrs. Clinton, then those Electoral College points go towards Mrs. Clinton. But it's not your direct vote. And many people find this cumbersome and confusing and unnecessarily, cumbersome. We have the technology to have one person, one vote, and have those tabulated and calculated within minutes via the internet and our computer power. It's not a problem anymore. It shouldn't be. But yet somehow we labor on with this old way of voting that many find to be fraught with, opportunities for, well, let's just say mischief. So I think, and every election year, particularly presidential election years, over the past, I would say, 3-4 presidential election cycles, this becomes a major question, the Electoral College, and you hear a lot of frustration about it. So I think that's what you will see. And as I say, I hesitant to put a time frame on it, but I'm thinking in the next 10 to 20 years, you're going to see that Electoral College go away and be replaced by a form of, one person, one vote that's more direct, where you can really feel like you're voting for someone and that your vote makes a difference. Because if you feel that, you're going to be more likely to vote. If you can vote from your computer or from your telephone, wherever you are, and you don't have to take a day off of work, you're going to vote more. And that is what I think we'll see in this transition era. So until then, try not to freak out. Try to keep the anxiety down.